It's been quite some time since my last Invincible video, and I, like most of you, have been waiting for Season 4's arrival. Season 3 was a massive success for the series, and this next one will hit much harder than the last. Without a doubt, the biggest moments of last season, though, was the debut of Conquest and his battle with Mark. And even after being beaten into a bloody pulp, he still lived, and even if you didn't read the comics, you can guess what's going to happen once he wakes up. And it's left a lot of people questioning exactly how strong is this beast of a man. And in today's video, I'll be going over just that. What's going on, guys? My name is Vertics, and if you enjoy videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I put out quality content weekly you won't want to miss. Now, if you haven't read the comics, go ahead and do so, or else you will be spoiled at your own risk. The first time we see Conquest is when he pulls up on Mark after his alternate versions terrorize the planet. At the very start of their battle, Conquest tells Mark that he is not like Anissa or other Viltrumites and doesn't care to spread the greatness of the Viltrum Empire. He is sent to planets when Viltrum is done with words, and sole purpose is to conquer them, hence where he gets his name from. He was one of the handful to come out of the Viltrumite Civil War alive, and in the animated series, he stated that the other Viltrumites feared him, and nobody wishes to be his friend off the fear he is too unstable and might kill them. This isn't stated in the comics, but Robert Kirkman does supervise the show and adds on to things he wish he did in the comics. When they start to throw down, Conquest would let Mark land in a fury of punches onto him just to see where his strength is at. And as he does this, it's clear that Mark is in for a lot more than he can handle. This isn't even Mark necessarily holding back, as before they charged at each other, Mark was saying how he was pissed off and wants to hit something as hard as he can over the recent events. Yet even when getting momentum in, all he gets is a "you're getting there" with a menacing grin from Conquest. Mark at this point would be around a continental to multi-continental level being, upscaling from his counterparts, which the best of the bunch defeated Nolan and were of the highest tier in the Viltrumite army. In the very early moments of the series, he stopped an asteroid from striking Earth, and with the strength he has gained from that point to the first battle with Conquest, he might be able to stop the same size asteroid that Nolan stopped, being the same size as Texas. Yet even being this strong, he still isn't able to seriously injure Conquest until his rage buff hits after Eve is almost killed. Up until this point, Mark was getting manhandled and tossed around by Conquest, even with Oliver's help. And to add fuel to the fire, Cecil states that he might be the strongest enemy the planet has seen up until that point. And of course, the only other contender to that title would be Nolan. And this is someone Cecil has very good knowledge on, having literal readings of his strength to go off of, even though most of the time they probably weren't when Nolan was going all out. Regardless though, it's still good scaling for Conquest, and puts him in the same tier of threat to the planet as Nolan was. And this is all while he's fooling around with Mark, by the way. Like he stated at the start of the fight, he doesn't care to spread the greatness of the Viltrum Empire. He just wants a good battle. And that's why he let Mark live until this point, instead of just trying to take him out from the very start. When he nearly killed Eve, he was still pretty healthy regardless of his blood loss, as bleeding for a Viltrumite means nothing, and it's not until here that Mark starts to seriously affect him. When they clash, both of their arms broke, and Conquest was still trying to talk about it being a game, which gave Mark the momentum he needed, along with Eve using her plot convenience powers to burn his skin off. Yet even being as beat up as he is, he still says he has more than enough for Mark, and breaks his hand while smiling and laughing, having his head bashed into pieces by Mark's skull. What's crazy is that he even survived this. I mean, this guy's entire face is flattened, and he has lost more than his fair share of blood. Viltrumites also get stronger the more serious the battle gets, and have decent regeneration. meaning the Conquest we saw fight Mark the second time was stronger than in the first battle. However, this of course goes for Mark as well. Conquest at this point is a serious threat for most of the verse, even the likes of both Nolan and Alan. Before the second battle started, Nolan saw Conquest and was saying, "Please, no." And Conquest even got him in his grasp and threatened to kill him and proceeded to headbutt him, damaging him in the process. Now, the interesting part to note here is that Conquest seems to be aware of how strong Nolan actually is when he says Mark is almost stronger than him, meaning that he has had to have seen him in action before. However, I don't think Nolan was scared of Conquest out of fear for his own life, but the life of his sons, who were both present on the battlefield. As he wasn't aware that Mark had fought Conquest already, and of course, what the fuck is Oliver supposed to do? This battle is drastically different than the first one though, as Mark's punches immediately take effect on Conquest, and for the next few pages, they are able to go blow for blow with one another. This fight could have ended up a lot differently than it did, as Mark only got in the position to kill Conquest because he wanted to satisfy his kill order after seeing Oliver go off to get some air. This was a very stupid decision on his end, as the guy made it very clear he loves to battle, and after getting a great opponent that he has acknowledged, he runs away to kill what's pretty much an ant. Still puzzles me as to why he did this in the first place, as he immediately realized it was a bad idea and changed his attention to Mark, and from this point on, the guy is panicking, desperately trying to get Mark's hands off his throat, and even when he punches a hole through Mark the same way he did Adam Eve, Mark still wouldn't let go, and ends up defeating Conquest a second time, but this time, it's for good. Both his durability and endurance are insane, as even when he had his skin burnt off and face bashed in, he still regenerated and survived, and was able to go blow for blow with Mark, and the fight would have gone longer if not Conquest's way if he didn't give Mark the chance to choke him out so quickly. And in case you were wondering how he lost his arm in the first place, well, this would be with a battle he had in the past with the Ragnar, and what makes this feat better is that Conquest said he never failed to conquer a planet, and if he was on a planet with Ragnar occupying them, well, then that would imply he actually beat them. And these Ragnar are no joke, as they are able to injure the likes of Thragg, and even were the cause of Anissa's death. Yet Conquest is implied to have beaten them, and is on the same tier as Nolan at that point in the series, who himself along with Alan were able to overpower the Ragnar. Nolan we know is able to blitz and destroy the Flaxen's planet without trying, and Alan has stated Viltrumites destroyed planets to the point there's nothing to return to, and both Nolan and Conquest are on the highest tier of strength the Viltrum army had outside of Thragg of course. Both his AP and durability scale around planetary level, and while some people will bring up the destruction of planet Viltrum and claim it's the cap of the verse, I really recommend you read that whole scene again. While it was destroyed by 3 Viltrumites and a shot from Space Racer's gun, this was to destroy the planet as quickly as possible, and we know off of information beforehand that this is quite overkill. For starters, Space Racer's gun is strong enough that in the animated series, it's destroyed large stars and is constantly upheld as the greatest weapon in the universe. As for the Viltrumites, well, we know they have destroyed planets to the point there's nothing to return to, and Nolian, Thaddeus, and Mark are some of the highest tiers, and would scale to that same level, and we have seen all of them survive this explosion, even while these 3 were directly inside the core. The minor Viltrumites even survived this blast, and Conquest no doubt would have lived as well. So I do think Conquest is a planetary level being with MFTL plus level speeds, as he, just like Nolan, can travel across the galaxy within short spans of time, as when he arrived on Earth, he didn't show up on a ship, he flew straight there. He's definitely one of the strongest warriors within the Viltrum army, but after time passes, he does fall a bit down on the overall rankings due to power cliffing, but still is up there as one of the strongest warriors within the verse. Well, that's it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps with the algorithm and is very appreciated. Follow my Twitter at Vertics_ for more of my takes. And without further ado, you guys can get out of here.